Oh, here she is, I think. Um, you here. Hopefully you can see that. Hey, girl.
Hey,
How are you?
good. How are you?
Good. I decided to come up to our office today because I needed like a little change of scenery. So
Oh, nice.
I've been at home for like 5 weeks, and we just have like it's just an office. Have you ever been to our office?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so you see, like it's just there's no one here. But I was like, you know what? I need to get out of the house and not do this live from home and like be in the office. So
Yes, feel like a normal person a little
yes,
bit.
I like put makeup on and get into some sort of like routine. So how are you doing though? With
Good.
everything?
I mean, I miss normal life, but that's like everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm hoping here in the next couple weeks things can get back to some sort of like
Yeah.
normal routine or something. I'm like so ready for it. I'm sure you are too.
Yes. I mean, I know. I think the state is getting better than I know some states. I think starting this week and next week, hopefully things will
Yeah. Yeah.
start getting better.
Yeah, I'm so ready for it. I'm sure you are too. Have you had a ton of postponing and all of
Yes.
that with COVID? Yes. Yeah.
Yes, so much and more
Hopefully
every week.
postponing and not canceling though.
Yes, most of my brides, they still want to celebrate just when it's safe to, which I'm really
Yeah.
happy for them. And I mean, I'm happy so I can shoot it too.
I know. I was thinking, I'm like, all these 2020 brides, they've like already made history because like everything that's going on, with everything with the COVID and stuff. I'm like, you guys have already made history because this is going to be remembered
Yeah.
forever. So awesome. Well, Megan K, do you just do weddings? You do all photography?
Mostly weddings. I mean, I do engagements and then occasionally, like some of my past brides, if they like to get pregnant, but sometimes I'll do maternity for them too, just because I love seeing them again. But like mostly couples, weddings, stay along those lines.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Well, we're gonna just start asking you a couple questions here. Just like, how did you get started in the photography business, and like, what was your kind of journey with that?
So I've been doing this since I've been pretty young. When I was in high school, I took like a photography class and I kind of fell in love with using my camera and trying different angles and then with people like using people in photos. And then when I turned 17, I decided I wanted to buy a car, but I didn't have any money. Um, so I shot a family photo session back then, and then people just kept sharing it on Facebook, and more people wanted to get family photos. So then when I was like a senior in high school, I like basically kicked off my business and kind of took pictures of like high school seniors, families, little babies, anything that would really pay me back then. I did my first wedding back then, and I'm surprised that someone trusted me when I was so young. But I'm really thankful that they did because through that wedding and then more and more, I fell in love with the wedding industry. And I went to college for like dental hygiene, which is very different than wedding photography.
Yeah, my best friend does dental hygiene. That's funny. So you went to school for that.
Yes. And then when I was there to pay for school, I was still shooting kind of everything, but I was like, I need to specialize in weddings so I can I love client relationships. But when I was shooting so many different kinds of clients, I didn't get to go like as deep and invest with people because I had so many people I was bouncing. So I was like, if I could just specialize in weddings, then I can get closer to all my clients and do less clients. And it's a little bit more of a project than like a family photo shoot or something. So then I specialized in weddings at 19 and started shooting like 20 to 30 a year all throughout college.
Oh
Um,
my gosh!
but
While
then,
you were in school,
yes, it
that's
was a little bit crazy. And my teachers, like I was in dental hygiene school, we weren't even allowed to have a job.
yeah, because you're not supposed to. My boyfriend's in dental school, and
Oh,
like,
wow.
there's no time for like jobs. Even she was like, yeah. So that's awesome that you did that. Keep
It
going.
was crazy. Yeah, you know firsthand then.
Yeah.
And I thought about dropping out a few times, but I was like, no, I'll get my degree. And I learned a lot. And I do like the thing I loved about healthcare is people, and that's what I love about photography too. But then I've been out in full time for 2 years now and loving wedding photography. I don't do dental hygiene, but it's kind of just like there in case I need it.
So you finished with dental hygiene school, but you just totally like dived into the wedding photography, right?
Well, I did it for a little bit, but like part-time, and kind of built up my photography business to make sure I'd have a sustainable income. But yeah, and I mean, there's nothing bad about cleaning teeth, but I prefer to take photos of people with pretty things.
Right, on the biggest day of their life. That's awesome. That's so cool. So cool. Awesome. That's such a cool. I feel like too, that's what's nice with dental hygiene is that you can kind of do it part-time. Like you can do that like 2 or 3 days a week. Also, just kind of your side hustle, if you want to call it. But in order for that side hustle to really take off, you've got to just super decide that like that's what you want to do and like go all in. So I know that's definitely what Marcy did here at Brite Beauty. She's just totally gone all in.
She's like an entrepreneur, like boss babe.
She is. I know. She always has like the best energy. I told her the other day on the phone, I'm like, how do you always, because I have my, with all this, I don't know about you, but I have my highs and lows, like good days, bad days. And I'm like, you always have a good day. And she always has the best energy. So she's just like, just wakes up in a good mood with high energy every day. I'm like, if only I could do that, because sometimes my days are just not good. But yeah, she's awesome. So how long have you had your business or like been in business?
So I've been doing it for a while, but technically I became like a legal business the day I turned 18 and was allowed to. So it's been since 2014.
Wow, that's awesome. And then is that all you do now?
Yes, all I do now.
Yeah. Do you have a team or is it just you? Like,
so,
do you have anyone with you?
I have my my husband actually. He works with me a lot. We actually met at a wedding, and he can do video and photo. So sometimes we work as a husband-wife photo video team. Sometimes he's just my like assistant photographer. But as of right now, it's mostly just us, and I have a few other associates that like I can contract out, but most of the time I just stick to.
It's just y'all too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome! How cool is that? And we did Megan's wedding, and she was absolutely stunning. We did her hair and makeup. Still like one of my favorite, because I see all the photos that come through from all the weddings we do, and like I use your photos all the time on our Instagram. So
thank you.
It was such a gorgeous wedding. I love the fur that you had.
Oh yes.
It was just everything. So awesome. So how have you kind of adjusted and pivoted during this COVID-19, like with all the unpredictedness?
Yes. So I mean, it's been. At first, I was like, "What am I gonna do?"
That's kind of how we were. We were like, we just have to start leveraging like marketing. Yeah.
It's like I can't see people, like I can't work with clients besides like on the phone and stuff. So thankfully I've been able to still book some clients for like 2021 and like talk to my current brides, kind of help them through the process of like postponing, making sure we have all of our ducks in order, and that's kept me pretty busy. But then on the days where I'm not as busy, I've been working with a brand consultant and rebranding and kind of really getting down to like why I do what I do. And she's been making really beautiful like graphics, and I'm excited for to launch a new website very soon. So it's been good from that perspective to have a little bit of a break to where I'm really able to kind of focus on like that aspect of my business.
Right. Well, and that's kind of how we work too. It's like taking the time. We're always so busy, as I'm sure you are too. Like the bridal industry, it's like go, go, go.
Yeah.
And we've kind of taken the time to like redo our website, do some like blogging, and just change things up a little bit and like really hone in on our marketing, which has been awesome. So that's so great that you've had time to do that. That's incredible. Yeah, because there's just never enough time when it's like wedding season in the spring and the fall, and it's
in Texas it's like all year round.
yeah, it's like always busy. Awesome. So sorry, I'm looking at some of my questions.
Oh no, you're good.
what is something you might do during the big day or during the editing process that your couples may not even like realize that you do when you go in like on the big day?
So I think a lot more work goes into like the before the wedding than a lot of people realize. And in my opinion, like wedding photography is very relational, and that's kind of how like you're able to get the best images is by developing that relationship with the bride and the groom, and maybe even like the bride's mom prior to the wedding day. So I think like I usually meet my brides for coffee before we end up booking. Right now it's more FaceTime.
Right.
And then usually I get to see them at like an engagement session and then also a bridal session. And so we really get to talk through their expectations, the things that are most important to them. And then I get to communicate with them on like when to best schedule their ceremony and different things according to lighting. And I'm always like, I try to make sure we get plenty of time in the planning process so we're able to really get the best photos and like be relaxed and enjoy the day. And so usually if we're able to do a lot of the planning on the forefront, the editing process is easier for me too, because we're able to shoot in the best lighting, and my brides are able to relax and be enjoyable, and we're able to get those candid, beautiful images and emotion that they love.
Awesome. And I'm sure it's so nice too having your husband help you, because I can't imagine being like I mean, is it doable to have one person go in on the wedding day and do everything?
Well, I'm sure there are people who do it. I prefer not to. So yeah, it is everywhere. I can really focus on like the bride. And I mean, a lot of times we do, I'm sure y'all's team as hair and makeup artists, anyone in the wedding industry really, you end up doing way more than just your job because you really care about the bride and making sure the day goes well. So the good thing is if I know he's focused on like one thing, like if he's working with the groom and the groomsmen right now, that I can really invest time in like the bride, make sure if she needs anything fetched, I can go get it. I can help her button her dress and be fully present there, knowing that like he's still working on getting the other images we need to. So yeah, it does really, really help to have two people.
Yes, I would think so. I can't imagine, because you can't be everywhere at once. So you can't be in the bridal suite and the grooms, you know, like getting every single angle of that. So I'm sure it's so nice and helpful that you have him also.
And I can trust him.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, what makes you unique in the way you approach your work?
So I'd say probably a similar answer to my last question is just that I really, really care about my clients. And like, I love to keep up with them even after their wedding day. And just like, I don't know, I really enjoy seeing all the emotions throughout the day unfold and capturing them. I really work with my brides to get them to a place where they're like able to comfortably share that in front of the camera, and like just feel comfortable and fully be able to be a bride and not worried and stressed about like anything else, because you only get to be a bride once. And my heart is just for them to be able to fully be so present in like their day, that and like develop that relationship prior and know that I'm on their side like throughout the whole process. So then on the day of, I'm able to see that unfold before my eyes and capture it so they can see it and relive it for the rest of theirs.
Well, and I almost kind of feel like you have to treat them treat it like as if it was your wedding too.
Yes.
You know, like make it just as important for you as it is for them, and like build that relationship with them to make them feel comfortable. I mean, if I was a bride or engaged, like in picking a wedding photographer, like I would want someone who is very like relational and very personable and makes it just as, you know, important to them as it would be to me. So I feel like building that relationship is so important too, which is awesome.
Yes.
How many weddings do you do like a year, would you say?
It's usually around like 45 right now.
Oh my gosh, that is crazy. Because can y'all do, I guess you can do like 2 in one day?
We don't usually do 2 in one day, but we'll do sometimes 2 in a weekend. And we kind of make sure, I mean, we make sure that we can do 2 in a weekend before we agree to something like that.
Right.
because I mean, if it's like two really big weddings that like require us the whole day, then we won't do two in a weekend. But if it's shorter wedding days, then it's pretty easy, and we're young, so we're along for the ride, and we love it so much.
Yeah. So you don't mind it. It's fun for you. So well, awesome. What should brides look for when hiring a wedding photographer? So, like, what are those key things to look for in picking the right one?
So I'd say a lot of them, I mean, I think every bride's a little bit different in what they look for. I think first off, they kind of look at the photos and see if they like them, if they're drawn to them, if they connect with them. And then they probably think really hard, like, can I see my wedding like in this style? And then will this style like help me to relive this day for the rest of my life, be one that I'll share with my kids and is timeless and like still relevant back then. I mean, not back then, in the future. And then I bet they probably go and look at the photographer, the face, and see if it looks like somebody friendly that they could get along with. And just kind of see if they can connect with the person and their work and see if they want their wedding day kind of portrayed in that fashion.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, because all of the photographers I've noticed, you guys all kind of have a different way in like the lighting that you do and like the, I don't know what you call it, not the filter, but I've seen some photographers, it's like a very like darker tones and like some are more bright. So I guess really figuring out like what you want your photos to look like too. Some people like the dark tones, you know, and some people I'm sure like more of the bright, but I guess just really figuring out what your vision is too. So and then do you keep like your same lighting and your same ways that you do it, or do you like for everyone, or do you ever change that up?
So in the beginning, I kind of like when I first started, I kind of experimented a lot. And even when I like back in 2014, 6 years ago, there was this like weird style to like make things. It's called HDR. It was like super crisp, like editing. And I did that back then, and now I look at it and I kind of cringe.
You're like, why did I ever do that?
Yes, I know, but people liked it and they wanted it. But so through kind of like experimenting and working with different clients, now I stay very consistent. So my clients are like able to trust my work and know what they get, which is kind of like why I work with them in the beginning too, to make sure we plan around the best lighting and things like that. So we're able to always produce very similar results. And if it's in like a darker chapel or like a darker reception area, we can always bring in additional lighting too to kind of help with that, to still keep that consistent look. But basically for me, there are people who really do that dark and moody style well. Yeah. And like you can I feel like it invokes a lot of emotion and it is very beautiful in its own way. But for me, I feel like it's not really my personality. And so I even thought about trying to do that. I was like, I have to like move with the trends. But then I realized for me, it wasn't who I am. It was me trying to be trendy, which is similar to that HDR style I did in 2014. Yeah. And it's not something that I would be proud of putting someone's wedding day in, for them to be able to look back at like 50 years down the road. Right. Now I stay consistent and like timeless kind of.
Yes. I feel like that is, you know, the wedding industry, I was never involved in it before working with Brite, but I learned so much. And one thing I feel like it is important to want to have something that you can look back on and is classic and timeless, you know?
Yes.
Because you're going to do, if you pick something which to each their own, everything is gorgeous, but like, I feel like if you were to pick something that's trendy right now, you might look back in 20 years at your wedding photos and be like, well, that was a thing for like a year, you know? And now it's so out of style, like the HDR, you know, thing that you mentioned. So awesome. So you just kind of like stay with what's true to you and like what's classic and timeless, and all your photos are gorgeous. So
thank you.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to open up. So I turned the comments off for any of you that are just now joining, just so it didn't cover your face. Because when we have the comments on, it tends to cover your face. And so we didn't want that. So I'm going to open up the comments just so if anyone has any questions. Let's see. I think it's on now. Oh gosh, I'm not good at this. How do I turn it on? Okay. Okay. I turned them on. If anyone has any questions at all for Megan, feel free to ask her. Is there any, like, what is the future for Megan Photography look like? You just, like, just trying to grow more? Do you want, like, a bigger team down the line? Or,
Yes, I mean, I guess to both of the questions. I do eventually, I saw a question down there. I'll get to that.
Yeah, I've seen the questions now.
But I want to keep growing, and I think it would be fun to do like a little bit more destination work as well. So like this year and next year, I have a few destinations on my calendar. And at least while I'm young, I mean, I loved going to new places and seeing pretty things and photographing people everywhere. I mean, I love the Dallas industry too. But eventually getting a team would be good too. It's really hard for me because I love my brides so much and I never want to give them anything but the best. So it would be hard for me to find somebody who I would trust under my brand to be able to do that. But I'm sure that there are people like that out there.
Right.
I would just have to interview a lot of people.
Yeah, because you want to have that one-on-one connection with the brides too. So I can only imagine it's hard to find a team that represents you and that you would trust going and doing good quality work that you want to be represented by you. So awesome. Well, we did have a question here. Do you recommend a first look?
So that's a very good question, and I always tell my brides, I really don't want to push you to do anything that you don't want to do, since this is a once-in-a-lifetime day. I mean, there are pros and cons to a first look. The only con really would be that if you pictured the first time he sees you being when you walk down the aisle, that it would be a little bit earlier. But there are several pros. One of them being like you get to share this beautiful moment together with just the two of you. And usually if you're nervous or anything before the wedding day, that really helps calm your nerves. And it's just a really sweet moment for you both. And then in my experience, usually the groom still cries a lot when you walk down the aisle. And that's what people are kind of afraid that we'll miss out on that moment. But we did a first look at my wedding, and the reason why we did it is because I wanted that moment, but also in the winter, the sun sets so early. And if you want to make sure that you get photos with natural lighting, which I highly recommend, because natural lighting is the best. Like, that's the reason why people's skin like looks so beautiful, is like the sun. So like planning a first look, then you can get your photos of your bridesmaids, your groomsmen, and your bridal party done, and sometimes even your family photos done beforehand. And then afterwards, you can even join the cocktail hour if you wanted, or just get more photos. You just have a lot more options on the timeline if you have a first look, and you get to share that moment. But my husband, he's on this chat, I see him, but
I know, I saw his boyfriend join too.
Oh, that's so cute. But he, like, our first look was probably my favorite moment of our wedding day, and I'm gonna share more about it soon on my page. But he was so cute and he lost it. But it's just like, I want that moment for everyone, but only if you feel like comfortable in making that a part of your day. I don't want you to feel forced to have to do that.
Right. Awesome. Well, we have another question here. Any advice on wedding planning while finishing the last year of college? Maybe hiring a wedding planner.
That's a good question.
That question, but
it's Elizabeth. I know her. Hi, Elizabeth. So, I mean, I think it's very doable to plan a wedding while you're in college. A lot of my brides have done that, and I know it can be stressful. I mean, wedding planning is kind of always stressful just because you're making decisions for like so many people, all your guests, all your family, but also you too, and it's just a lot of stress. But hiring a wedding planner is something I highly recommend. And just because they help make the day go a lot smoother. They know the way to plan it for photos. They know how to talk to your vendors, make sure everyone arrives on time. And I mean, if you hire good vendors, people should know what to do. But I've seen weddings that don't go as well because they didn't have a planner. So I always suggest hiring a wedding planner. Plus, they make sure that your wedding day is beautiful. They'll help like stylize all of your details, and they help me make just everything really beautiful in pictures too. So I always suggest hiring a wedding planner.
Yeah, I think I would definitely want a wedding planner, and I'm not engaged or anything, but dealing with brides every day and like just the process and like seeing it all, yeah, I think that they take a lot of stress off of you. Because sometimes, I'm dealing with the planner and I'm not even dealing with the bride at all. It's the planner,
Yeah,
the work, which I think is so nice too, is having them to be able to reach out to vendors, help you. They have connections with different vendors that maybe you don't know about. So
yes.
I think that's awesome. Awesome. Well, uh, what is the best way for, do we have any other questions here for anyone? I don't see any other questions. Do you see any other? Okay, I don't see any other. Yeah. So what is the best way for someone to get in touch with you?
So on my Instagram and on my website, it's linked to where you can get to my contact page, and then you can fill out like a contact inquiry, tell me a little bit about what you're looking for. If you have a wedding date or like an idea for a shoot that you're interested in, and then I get back with you on like my availability, pricing, information, all of that. And if you ever want to connect with me on Instagram, I'm always open over DMs, or if you want to comment. I love connecting with people, and it's always encouraging and it's fun, especially right now, just since we all miss people.
I know. I live alone and I'm like, I need people. I'm an extrovert for sure. I've learned that in this whole process. So awesome. Awesome. Well, make sure you guys follow Megan K Photography. She does absolutely amazing jobs. So make sure you check her out and give her a follow. And thank you so much for coming on with us today. We're so excited.
Thank you for having me. It's been really fun. And I love Brite.
Good. Thank you. And make sure you guys tune in every day at noon. We're going to be interviewing different vendors in the wedding industry, cocktail photographers, planners, everything. So make sure you tune in at 12 o'clock every day so you can just get to know everyone and hear their story and everything. So make sure you check in. And thank you so much again, Megan.
Thank you for having me. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Yes. Bye, guys.
Bye.